This is the story from the Bible that we call Moses in the Bulrushes. Once there was a girl called Miriam who lived in Egypt. Her family were Hebrew slaves, and there were many Hebrew slaves in Egypt working for the king. One day, the king of Egypt gave an order. "There are too many Hebrews in Egypt," he said. "There must be no more baby boys." And so the king sent soldiers to all the Hebrew villages. If they found any baby boys, they were to kill them. Miriam's mother had a baby boy. She ran home and said, "What are we to do? The soldiers are coming." Well, Miriam's mother hid the baby in the house, and Miriam watched over him. "Shh, little brother, be good for mother," she said. But soon the baby grew up, and he was too big and too noisy to hide in the house any longer. And so Miriam's mother found a basket and painted it so that it would not leak, and then she wrapped the baby in a blanket and put him in the basket. And when no one was looking, Miriam and her mother carried the basket down to the river and hid it in the bulrushes. Miriam's mother hurried home, leaving Miriam to watch the baby. All day she hid nearby to make sure he was safe. "Shh, little brother, be good for mother," she said. Then, from her hiding place, Miriam could see some people coming. It was the king's daughter. And as she walked along the riverbank with her servants, she saw something floating in the bulrushes. "Fetch that for me to see," she told her servant. The servant brought the little basket to the king's daughter. It floated just like a little boat. The king's daughter looked inside the basket and was amazed. "It's a baby boy," she smiled. The king's daughter lifted the baby from the basket, and the baby began to cry. "He must be a Hebrew baby," she said. "Poor little thing, are you hungry?" And just then Miriam jumped up from her hiding place. "Shall I fetch someone to feed the baby and look after him for you?" she asked. "What a good idea!" And so Miriam ran home to fetch her mother, and together they hurried back to the river. "I will pay you money to feed this baby and look after him for me," said the king's daughter, and she handed the baby to his mother. Miriam and her mother were very happy once more. They took the baby back home and cared for him until he was old enough to go to the palace. And then the king's daughter took him in. "I will bring him up like a son," she said, "and I will call him Moses." And that is what she did. So Moses grew up in the palace until the time was right for God to give him a very special job to do. But that is another story.